There's a Japanese secret that transforms ordinary people into perpetual learners. Here's the irony. The more you think you know, the less you actually learn until you discover this one thing. Ever notice how a 3-year-old learns more in 1 year than most adults learn in a decade? The child has no motivation, no discipline, no elaborate study plan, but they absorb everything like a sponge. Why? The answer lies in something Japanese Zen masters discovered 800 years ago, something neuroscientists are finally proving today. There's a specific mindset that transforms your brain into an infinite learning machine. The Japanese call this Shin, the beginner's mind. When you combine Shoshin with 2 other concepts, Shuhari and Do, you unlock something powerful, the ability to learn anything at any age without ever stagnating. But most people lose this ability by age 25. You start saying things like, "I'm not good at this. I'm too old. I can't learn new things." And you believe these lies until you discover the truth. Before I tell you the story of how one woman discovered this secret and completely transformed her life, subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and comment. What skill have you always wanted to learn, but think it's too late? Now, back to the story. Chapter 1. The Problem. Elena was 38 years old. She taught high school mathematics for 15 years. She was dedicated. She stayed late helping students. She prepared lessons carefully. She genuinely cared. But Elena carried something heavy inside, a silent frustration that ate at her every single day. She watched other teachers advancing, department heads, published authors, TED speakers, and she thought, how did they get there? Are they smarter than me? Elena had dreams. She wanted to create innovative teaching materials. She wanted to launch an online course. She wanted to learn graphic design, video production, and public speaking. She wanted to earn enough to stop worrying about money. But every time she thought about starting, a voice screamed inside her head. You're 38 years old. It's too late. The people who succeeded started young. You don't have natural talent. You're not creative. You're just average. And she believed it because society had hammered it into her brain for years. There's a window for learning. You learn when you're young. After 30, your brain is already formed. It's over. So Elena lived on autopilot. Home, school, school, home. Weekends recovering from exhaustion. Bills paid with nothing left over. No growth, no prospects, just survival until the day everything changed. It was a Thursday afternoon parent-teacher conferences. Elena had 12 meetings scheduled back-to-back. The 8th meeting was with Mrs. Harrison, a parent known for being demanding, critical, and impossible to satisfy. Her son Jake was failing math, not because he couldn't understand it, but because he refused to try. Mrs. Harrison sat across from Elena with that look, that accusatory expression that said, "My son's failure is your fault." "Miss Elena," she began, her voice dripping with condescension, "Jake tells me you can't explain things in ways he understands, that you're stuck in old methods. Maybe if you were more dynamic, more innovative, he'd actually learn something." Elena felt something inside her crack, not anger, something worse. Agreement. Mrs. Harrison was right. Elena wasn't dynamic. She wasn't innovative. She'd been teaching the same curriculum the same way for 15 years. She'd stopped growing. She'd stopped learning. She had become exactly what she feared most, stagnant. The meeting ended. Mrs. Harrison left, threatening to escalate to the principal. Elena sat alone in her empty classroom as the sun set. And for the first time in years, she cried. Not because of the rudeness, but because of what it revealed. Elena had stopped believing she could improve. She'd accepted mediocrity as a ceiling. She'd stopped trying because she decided she wasn't capable of more. That night, she couldn't sleep. She sat at her kitchen table in the dark, having the most honest conversation of her life with herself. I've become the teacher I swore I'd never be. I've stopped growing. I've stopped trying. I've accepted this as good as it gets. But when did I give up? When did I decide I couldn't learn new things? The answer was devastating. She'd given up the moment she started believing she knew her limits. Chapter 2. The Desperate Search. Friday morning, Elena couldn't concentrate. Her mind was elsewhere. She'd made a decision. She was going to change. She was going to learn. She was going to grow. But she had no idea where to begin. That evening, she picked up her phone and started searching how to learn new skills. After 30, how to become innovative. How to change your life when you feel stuck. The algorithms loved it. Within 2 days, her feed exploded. Productivity gurus with miracle morning routines. Course creators are promising $10,000 a month. Innovation coaches with titles like From Average to Extraordinary in 90 days. Elena devoured everything. She watched videos until 2 in the morning. She bought courses. She downloaded templates. She took notes. She paid for courses in installments on her credit card. She enrolled in Create Your Online Course. The instructor promised that anyone can do this. Just follow my proven system. Elena followed every step. Filmed 20 videos, built a website, launched to her email list of 87 people. 0 sales, not one. She tried another approach. She bought a course on personal branding for educators, created Instagram and LinkedIn accounts, posted daily for 3 weeks following the formula. Inspirational quote personal story. Call to action. Total engagement. 12 likes from friends and family. 0 growth. She bought another course. Graphic design for non-designers. Then photography basics. Then productivity systems. Each course promised to be different, to be the one who would finally work. But nothing stuck. Nothing transformed her. Elena was becoming more frustrated, more exhausted, and worse. She was spending money she didn't have on programs that delivered no results. She began to believe the voices again. You're not entrepreneurial. You're not creative. You're just a teacher. That's all you'll ever be. Other people can learn these things. But you can't. It was her husband, David, who said something that changed everything. One night, after watching Elena collapse in frustration, he sat beside her. Elena, you're trying to skip steps. You want immediate results, but you're not really learning. You're consuming information as if it will magically transform you. But transformation doesn't work that way. Elena looked at him confused and defeated. So, how does it work? David shrugged. I don't know, but I know the way you're doing it isn't right. That conversation kept nagging at her. And the next night, while scrolling through the endless feed of promises, a video appeared that was completely different. The title was simple. Shoshin, why did you stop learning? The thumbnail wasn't flashy. No shouty text. No exaggerated promises. Just a simple image of a Japanese Zen garden with the word Shoshin in elegant calligraphy. Elena almost scrolled past, but something made her click. And in the next 15 minutes, everything she believed about learning was shattered. Chapter 3. Discovering Shoshin. The man in the video spoke calmly. No yelling, no hype, no promises of instant wealth. He began with a story. Zen Master Shunryu Suzuki said something that became legendary. In the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities. In the expert's mind, there are few. Elena paused the video. Read the sentence again. Something clicked deep in her brain. The instructor continued. The biggest problem adults have isn't a lack of ability. It's an excess of certainty. You think you know how things work. You think you know your limits. You think you know what you can and can't learn. And these certainties imprison you. Elena felt as if someone had turned on a light in a completely dark room. Shoshin means beginner's mind. It's the ability to approach any situation, even those you already know, as if it were the first time, without preconceptions, without ego, without fear of looking stupid, with pure curiosity. The central concept of Shoshin is having an attitude of openness, enthusiasm, and absence of prejudice when studying a subject. even if you're already an expert. A beginner's mind is ideal for learning because the beginner has fewer assumptions. A beginner has no expectations. An expert often has a rigid set of right ways that prevents them from seeing new possibilities. The video showed a comparison. Average adult entering a Spanish class. I've tried to learn Spanish 3 times and failed. I'm not good at languages. This is going to be a waste of time. This person arrives already defeated. Their mind are closed. Each mistake confirms their belief. In 3 weeks, they quit. A child is entering the same class. No beliefs about being good or bad at languages. The child simply experiments, makes mistakes without shame, tries again, makes mistakes again, tries again. Their mind are completely open. In 6 months, the child will be speaking Spanish. The difference isn't neurological capacity. It's mentality. It's Shin. Then the instructor asked a question that struck Elena like lightning. How many things could you have learned in your life if you hadn't decided you weren't capable before even really trying? Elena paused the video again. The question burned in her mind. How many times had she given up? Not because she genuinely tried and failed, but because she decided beforehand she didn't have the talent. Photography. I'm not artistic. Coding. I'm not technical. Public speaking. I'm too shy. Video production. I'm not tech savvy. She had never really tried any of these. She'd watched tutorials, done a few exercises, but she'd never approached them with Shoshin, with the open, curious, egoless mind of a true beginner. She'd always approached them as Elena who isn't good at this. And that belief became a self-fulfilling prophecy. The video continued. Shoshin is the starting point. But how do you evolve while maintaining that open mind? The Japanese created a concept called Shuhari Shu. You follow the rules completely. You copy the master. You don't invent. You don't modify. You absorb the pure form. After mastering the rules, you start to consciously break them. You adapt. You experiment. You find your own way. You transcend the rules. You no longer think about them. You become the practice. The rules live through you naturally. And all of this happens within a larger concept called do the journey. You're not learning to reach a destination. You're on the journey and the journey never ends. You're always learning. The instructor's final words hit Elena hard. Most people fail at learning not because they lack ability, but because they lack Shoshin. They approach new skills with ego, with preconceptions, with fear of looking incompetent. And that closed mind makes learning impossible. But when you embrace Shoshin, when you become a true beginner again, learning becomes inevitable. The video ended with an invitation. A 12-week mentorship program applying these concepts to real-life skill acquisition. It wasn't cheap, but it wasn't outrageously expensive. And for the first time in months, Elena felt something different. Not excited about quick results. Do not hope for a magic formula, but clarity. This made sense. This felt true. This was different from everything else. She signed up that night. Chapter 4. The Mentorship. The first mentorship session shocked Elena. She expected strategies, tactics, a step-by-step system. What she got was completely different. The mentor, whose name was Ken, began with the question, "Why do you want to change your life?" Elena answered quickly, "I want to learn new skills. I want to innovate. I want to feel valuable again." Ken shook his head. "Those are goals, not reasons. Why do you want those things?" Elena remained silent. No one had ever asked her that. She thought, really thoughtfully, because I feel like I've wasted 15 years doing the same thing. Because I want to prove to myself that I'm not finished growing. Because I refuse to spend the rest of my life feeling stuck. Now that's a reason, Ken said. That's your Ikigai. Your reason for being, he explained. The Japanese believe we all have an Ikigai. It's the intersection of four things: what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what can pay you. But before finding that intersection, you need to answer one fundamental question. What would make you wake up excited to work, even if there was no immediate reward? For Elena, the answer crystallized. She didn't want to be the teacher who stopped growing. She wanted to prove primarily to herself that transformation was possible at any age. That learning never stops. That was her Ikigai. And, once identified, everything changed because now she had a guiding star. Ken then introduced the second concept, Kaizen. Kaizen means continuous improvement, but it's not about giant leaps. It's about being 1% better every day, he wrote on the board. 1.01 to the power of 365 equals 37.78.